Greater Manchester Police Constable guilty of excessive force in misconduct hearing, but completely avoids criminal charges by the CPS. Stop resisting. This is how the police are trained to make people think you're doing something wrong. Liverpool councillor suspended over conspiracy to commit bribery. This and more coming up. And don't forget, these reports are daily, Monday to Friday. Please remember to subscribe and hit that bell so you don't miss any future uploads. And if you appreciate the work I do, please consider supporting the channel through the channel Patreon page for as little as just £3 per month to help me continue providing this content. Hello ladies, gentlemen, boys, girls, innies, outies, and of course in-betweeners. My name's Dan and welcome back to another PAP Reports. It's Friday the 4th of September 2020. Greater Manchester Police Constable Philip Ellis has avoided criminal charges for hitting a man on the head with his baton during an arrest in October 2016 after police were called to an incident outside Deansgate Locks in Manchester. The incident left a 23-year-old needing hospital treatment. An IOPC investigation was opened into the incident, which concluded in March 2017 with the file being sent to the Crown Prosecution Service to deliberate charges. However, the CPS appeared to think that hitting someone over the head, even though targeting the head is the utmost last resort for police, which should literally hardly ever be used or heard of, the CPS think it's appropriate and the evidence did not support a criminal prosecution. Bearing in mind that the IOPC will do what it can not to have to put a file over to the CPS, so the evidence the IOPC found must have been pretty conclusive, otherwise they would have sent it back to the force for them to deal with. At the very least, there should be a charge under Offences Against the Person Act 1861. Hitting someone in the head should only ever be used as a last resort in a life or death situation, as it has such a high possibility of killing or disabling someone. Anyway, even though the CPS have failed miserably in their duties to serve justice, the force themselves, on the advice of the IOPC, decided a misconduct hearing should be held. That hearing has now been heard, and PC Philip Ellis was found to have breached standards of professional behaviour relating to the use of excessive force after the disturbance at Deansgate Locks, and that gross misconduct was proven. Which confuses me even more, as if there was enough to prove he used force that was not proportionate, then he broke the law. So the allegations were proven in a misconduct hearing, and Ellis was dismissed without notice, with a statement from Greater Manchester Police saying police officers are trained to deal with challenging situations and should only use force when it is necessary, proportionate and reasonable. The IOPC Regional Director Amanda Rowe said, "Having considered all of the evidence we gathered during our investigation, the panel decided PC Ellis had behaved recklessly and his actions put people at risk." PC Ellis will also be placed on the College of Police's barred list. I have to say, fair play to Greater Manchester Police for following this through. They could have easily swept this one under the carpet, and the CPS, after the CPS refused to do their duty, but they didn't. So fair play, and I don't say that often. Although PC 3139 William Sampson from South Yorkshire Police needs to watch out, because I'm a-coming for you. This incident happened before I was on the scene. However, the mistake you made of hitting that boy around the head with your baton happened while I was on duty. And I'm going to make sure that nobody forgets that. Staffordshire Police Constable 53-year-old PC Paul Barron is to appear in court charged with misconduct in a public office, which personally I think should be the case for all police rather than internal misconduct hearings, seeing as any misconduct by police is misconduct in public office, therefore a criminal offence. The charge against Barron is in connection with an alleged attempt to form an inappropriate relationship with a woman he met during the courses of his duty, which kind of surprises me, as others recently never ended up in court for doing the same thing. The investigation began in February 2019 following a referral from the force, and following the completion of an IOPC's inquiries in December, it submitted a file to the Crown Prosecution Service to consider charges. The CPS made the decision to charge Barron in May. At the time, he was no longer serving with the police force. Barron is due to make a first appearance at Birmingham Magistrates Court today. If you ever wanted or needed proof that the police are trained to say certain things in certain situations, such as "stop resisting," then look no further, because believe it or not, the reason the police shout such things is psychological. Members of the public passing by will hear the shouts, and then when asked by the police, they will say he or she was resisting. They won't say, I heard the police shout stop resisting but didn't see anyone resisting. But to be honest, this is a win-win for police in either case when it comes to stitching members of the public up. In this prime example, a plainclothed Metropolitan Police Constable is caught on camera using this little well-rehearsed trick on a couple of men that had been pulled over. In fact, the police constable was pointing a taser at the suspect who was sitting on his arse, handcuffed, literally in the best position in terms of controlling a suspect. But yet, PC Big Cojones was pointing his taser and telling the man to get back down on the ground or you're going to get re-energised. Even though the man was sitting the entire time this was happening.
What drugs, bro?
Get back, fella.
No drugs. What drugs, bro?
Mate, there's loads of drugs left this vehicle.
What drugs, bro?
Loads of drugs.
What drugs?
Don't worry, it's all on criminal.
What drugs? What drugs? What drugs, bro? Oh, punch you up, bro. What drugs, bro? What drugs, bro?
Bring your legs out.
Nah, bro.
Fella, get back now.
I live here.
Now, or you're gonna get re-energized. Get back now.
I'll get tasers. So what? I'll get tasers. You think man? Trust me, you're a slow me, bro. The handcuffs don't stop forever, bro. What my trainers? What my trainers, bro?
Personally, I reckon the constable had been practising that line in front of his mirror with a hairbrush. The video, which had been posted on Twitter, had thousands of views, and users berated the actions of the police for pointing the taser even though the suspect was already arrested and under control. One said, bit ridiculous to have a taser aimed at a man who is on the floor and handcuffed around how many fully grown men is it? Another wrote, why are they posing with their tasers? Since when do UK police cuff people's hands behind their back? It is not known if any charges were made at this time, but the Metropolitan Police are yet, to my knowledge, make a statement about the incident, but I'm sure it'll be a cracking bedtime read when they do. Even though the National Police Chief Council are calling for more tasers to be issued to police and the Home Office approving more powerful and less accurate tasers for use, it seems that at least one force has decided the current ones might be good enough, or simply don't want the hassle of all the claims that will be coming their way. Suffolk Police have said that they have no immediate plans to introduce the new model Taser 7, which in reports and studies has been suggested to heighten the risk of injury. Independent advisors raised concerns over the new Taser launched in November 2018, with earlier models of conducted energy devices no longer in service or being phased out. The government said any risks were carefully considered in line with rigorous testing, and that the Defence Science Technology Laboratory, which provides expert analysis on security procurement, had identified Taser 7 as the only device suitable for use and currently in production beyond the standard X26 Taser. The Home Office said its improved effectiveness could lead to quicker resolutions of incidents on the front line, preventing the need to use other force, which may result in more serious injury. The announcement came after the Scientific Advisory Committee on the Medical Implications of Less Lethal Weapons responded to a request from the Home Office for its opinions on the implications of the Taser system. Opinions which non-scientific Priti Patel decided to completely ignore. A report said that if the neuromuscular incapacitation was more robust than the latest Taser X2, it may elevate risk of skull and bone injuries associated with uncontrolled falls and may increase risk of musculoskeletal injury from muscle contraction. The Scientific Advisory Committee said higher kinetic energy and momentum may also lead to elevated risk of internal injury, while decreased probe dispersion presented a hazard to anyone downrange. Suffolk Police said it was already upgrading to the newer double-shot X2 unit and had no immediate plans to introduce Taser 7, adding, we carefully consider the nature of the threat and the level of risk faced by officers in protecting themselves and others, and use this to determine the most appropriate equipment to be made available. The constabulary is currently undergoing an upgrade programme to replace X26 units with the newer X2 units. There are no plans to introduce the T7 Taser in the near future. Now, this next one is not police related as such, but is a public official, so it certainly has a place in these reports. Liverpool City Council's head of regeneration, Nick Kavanagh, was arrested or rearrested this week on suspicion of conspiracy to commit bribery, along with 4 other people. Merseyside police have not confirmed the names of those taken into custody, but said the arrests were part of an ongoing investigation into bribery and corruption. A police spokesperson said those arrested included a 51-year-old man and 45-year-old woman from the Cressington area of Merseyside, a 56-year-old man from Knowsley, a 34-year-old man from Down Holland, and a 41-year-old man from Maudsley in Lancashire. A Liverpool City Council spokesperson said Liverpool City Council is cooperating with Merseyside Police in relation to its ongoing investigation. We do not comment on matters relating to individual members of staff. Kavanagh was first arrested last December as part of a fraud investigation alongside developer Elliot Lawless, and that's something we covered in PAP Reports on the 1st of May this year. Both men were released on bail in March and no charges were brought. Towards the end of that month, it was confirmed Lawless was no longer on police bail. In April, the High Court ruled that a search of Lawless's home shortly before his arrest had been unlawful. Kavanagh has reportedly been suspended by the council. Now, believe it or not, and the source is linked in the description, but Alison Birch, owner of AJ's hair salon in Stroud, Gloucestershire, has been told by the job centre that her advert is discriminative and that they will not run her advert to people seeking work. Alison listed a job advert looking for a part-time qualified hairdresser at a unisex hair salon. The position called for someone with 5 years' experience of working in a salon who is confident in barbering as well as all aspects of hairdressing. Also stating that this is a busy, friendly, small salon, so only happy, friendly stylists need apply. Now I'm going to give you a few seconds to work out what's discriminative about that advert. Stuck? Well, let me help you out. The job centre refused to run her advert because the word happy is considered discriminatory, and that the advert may make some people feel they cannot apply if they do not consider themselves to be a happy person. You really couldn't make this shit up. Alison claims the man at the job centre said to her, "I'm sorry, but the word happy is a discriminatory word and we are not allowed to use it, as someone who is not happy will be discriminated against." He then asked, should we change the word in case somebody thinks that they can't apply for the job because they're not a happy person? Alison added, was I being a bit sensitive, and is the word happy discriminative, or has the whole world gone mad? Well, Alison, if you're watching this video, I'll ask you to have a look in the comments, because I know for a fact the subscribers of this channel will tell you the truth about whether you were being sensitive or if the whole world has gone mad. You see what started now? And yes, I'm talking to you Karens and snowflakes. This is the world we're now living in, where happy is deemed discriminative, and it's all your fault. You cretinous Metropolitan Police Constable PC William Woolston from the Met's Central Specialist Crime Unit attended a misconduct hearing yesterday over allegations that he had breached the standards of professional behaviour in relation to authority, respect and courtesy, and discreditable conduct. It seems that Woolston had the hots for someone, feelings which clearly were not reciprocated, as it was alleged that during the course of making arrangements to return a laptop to a female, PC Woolston's comments contained in text and emails were flirtatious, contained sexual innuendo and or were otherwise inappropriate, and he appeared to have attempted to encourage the female to engage in sexting with him. The hearing panel, upon hearing the evidence, decided that Woolston's actions did breach professional standards at the level of gross misconduct, and was handed a final written warning. Very big thank you to channel supporters one and all, especially channel Patreon supporters. Your support is truly, truly appreciated. And that's all I have for you today. Please like, please share, please comment and please subscribe. Let me know your thoughts, as I'm pretty sure most of you will. And until next time, stay safe, look after each other, film the police and other officials. And from Sergeant Big Ted and PC Little Ted and myself, have a great weekend. Good night, all. Thank you for taking the time to watch this video. If you like the content and you'd like to help support the channel, you can do so. In the description of every video there are some links to ways that you're able to help support the channel so I can continue putting out content. If you're unable to help us in that way, hit that subscribe button up the top there. If you haven't already, become a subscriber. That is support enough. Share the videos, comment, like, it all helps. If you're looking for something else to watch, up top there is my latest video. Down the bottom there is a video that YouTube recommends for you.